Welcome to Fearless and Flawed. Today, we're joined by Kate Assaraf, the founder of Dip, a sustainable hair care line built without influencers, without Amazon, and without a single paid ad. She's redirected roughly $5 million back into independent retailers across every state in the country, and she did it with 7 employees and her own factory in North Carolina.
And here's what gets me. She didn't start by shouting about sustainability or trying to guilt anyone into buying. She built something that actually works, proved it, and lets the product do the talking. 4.5 years in, and she knows her store owners by name.
That's the kind of brand you simply can't fake.
And I'm Serena, and I help bold leaders become the go-to experts in their space.
And I'm Sarah, an email marketing pro here to convert clicks into cash. Together, Serena and I are 2 women in charge, digging into the fearless, the flawed, and the fabulous journeys of female founders rewriting the rules.
So let's dive in. So welcome, Kate. Welcome to our podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me. That was an exquisite intro. I appreciate it. It's almost out of body listening to it. So thank you very much.
It's the truth.
So, Kate, let's talk about Dip. What is it? And how did you come up with it? And tell us all about it. Just tell us all about it. Let's start there at the beginning.
Okay. In one breath, Dip is sustainable hair care, which means plastic-free hair care for people that are fed up with sustainability. That's really the nicest way to say it. So often people are, trying to reduce their plastic and find sustainable options that they really love. And what I've seen, and I was one of these people myself, was that I felt like the plastic-free part came way before that brand cared about performance. And for me, like it wasn't really it wasn't really something I was willing to do. I wanted to be eco-friendly. I did not want to look eco-friendly. Those are two very different things. So yeah, that's how Dip came around. It came out of frustration, actually, of being a sustainable consumer for 10 years. And, knowing that from what I knew for 20 years in the beauty industry, I knew I could solve the problem and I knew I could do it in a way that got people excited about using bars instead of feeling like they have to.
Explain this concept of like the shampoo bar, the conditioner bar, because I think a lot of people, we associate that with like soap, right? But Dip is all these, like you said, eco-friendly products in bar form. And then after you explain that, why hair care? Do you have experience in the hair care industry, or was it just frustration in your own, daily experience with a shampoo or conditioner?
It was both. So I have been sustainable, I guess, reducing my plastic for at least 10 years, ever since I found out not only it was accumulating on the planet, but also because of, the hormone disruption and the endocrine disruption that was happening from, plastic leaching into waterways. And I don't know, it's all a nightmare. I don't want to go into that because it's scary. And people are starting to know that
We
now.
like scary.
But
We
what
like scary. We like scary. Go into it, girl. No, seriously, go into it. Educate people.
I mean, honestly, like I read this book when I was pregnant with my first son 11 years ago. It was called Boys Adrift. And it was really about like how to raise a productive son and the factors that have been changing humans in development in boys over the past few decades. And it was mostly about like video game exposure and how boys don't go outside as often and they're not, they don't know the nature cues that have historically been used for hunting and all these kind of factors. And then a little piece of it, there's a very short blip in the book, was about plastic. And it kind of blew my mind because I was pregnant reading this, and what the author was saying was that, someone was kind of tugging on his sleeve, warning about plastic, and he kind of blew it off and thought it was like a little annoying. But then he did a deep dive and saw that there's study where the plastic runoff from a factory near the Potomac River, the plastic runoff was changing the biology so that the male fish started laying eggs. And to me, that's like pretty shocking because my mom is an anthropologist and she taught evolution. And that should be a very slow process to have these hormonal changes very quickly is something that is very scary.
Okay, so I didn't know that.
Oh, it's frightening, actually. And they've known about it for about 10 years. So now, well, that's when I found out about it. So, I didn't, for a while, like I was trying to avoid plastic, and I still try and avoid plastic, but like I also didn't want to be that like tinfoil hat person that was like, hey, the plastic's like, wrecking our hormones.
They're
But
coming
now,
for us. They're coming for us. But they are. They actually are.
yeah, privately, I was making all those changes, and I was talking to the moms around me, and it starts to feel a little bit validating when you see that, not validating in a good way. It's validating in the worst way to find out that microplastics are in, all of our tissues, including our brain. And that is the result of everyone just being exposed to so much plastic in every facet of your lives, whether it's like activewear or whether it is, takeout spoons or your own cutting board. Like, I mean, there's so many different ways for plastic to get into your system. And, on the same side, people don't want to hear it, right? They don't want to know that this is happening. It's actually more like ignorance is bliss with this situation, but it's starting to become too big for people to ignore now. It's frightening. I normally don't take this path, but like
No,
it
no,
is frightening.
I think this is a great path. I think a lot of our listeners actually, I mean, I'm going to speak for myself. I am someone who I believe the science. I believe in what the research is showing, but it's hard for me to fathom that this would be allowed, right? Like that's where my resistance has always been is like, but someone surely at the higher ups, right, must say, oh my God, we must correct it until you read about the lobbyists and you read about the big corporations and big money and how, and because I myself have a daughter now, um, I couldn't agree more, whether it's processed food, whether it's the plastics around us, it's a real thing, but it's scary. And with fear, I think sometimes there's denial, but there's also, again, in my case, complete shock the more I read that. Holy shit, people have known this and they've buried the information because guess what?
Yeah, that was actually the most frightening thing is that
So here's a question for you. I mean, I have my own take on this, but so you said that it was 11 years ago when you were pregnant with your first son. And Sarah's just mentioned her beautiful little daughter. It's amazing. So for me, it was amazing that shift of becoming a mother and then looking at the world in a completely different light. And I just wanted to just to like ask you both really how that's changed for you, how that is for you.
well, the world becomes, kind of you take it for granted when you're living your own life and I had my first son at 32, so I was kind of blissfully navigating my 20s and consuming, and you felt invincible in your 20s, and then when I became a mother I realized that it's not my earth, it's his. And that is a very different shift of how you start to perceive things, and it comes with that change, and it comes either with that change or age. Like you're going to get to that point like where you really start to recognize your own mortality and how you're not on this planet very long actually, and you're lucky if you're here 75 years, even luckier if you're here 100. That's just not a very long time. And so when you think about how old the earth is and how much longer you think it's going to keep spinning, it really is our responsibility to notice this stuff and to consume less, whether it's, plastic or just stuff in general.
And you started a business. I mean, here's the thing that I'm like in awe of. You saw a problem, you gave birth, and then you started that is not a traditional route. Like most moms are like, this is a problem. I need to find a company that has the same ethos as me. You started the company though.
Well, I kept buying shampoo bars and conditioner bars, and I was so angry. They just ended up being like a tombstone or cemetery in my shower because I would try one and be like, ugh. I try another one, and I just was so frustrated. And I knew that what I wanted was no plastic. I didn't need an all natural bar. What I wanted was a bar that works where there's no plastic involved. I wanted hair science. I knew the hair science and technology, like I do not deny science in hair care. It's amazing. But I didn't want, silicones, parabens, phthalates, like all those things. But I wanted effective hair care. So Dip is not all natural. It has the hair science in it. It just isn't in plastic. Whereas many of the bars out there, they're trying to capture that all natural consumer. And like, I'm not scared of science. I want some science in a lot of things. Like I want it in so much of my life. Like I don't, I find it fascinating how many people are either like, they're so polarized. They're either like all synthetic or all natural people. And I think that there's a beautiful spot in between in the medium where things should and can exist.
Music to my ears. So basically, like eco-friendly, sustainable without being like the tree hugger type of persona.
Well, there's already bars for that type of person. Like and that's fine. But for me, I was using a really expensive luxury conditioner, especially. Like it's so some people are like hair people, which is where I fall into, and then some people are like shoe people, and some people are purse people, some people are like where they kind of indulge. My indulgence has always been hair. I've always loved it. I've had every kind of hair. So I've had, blonde, pink, silver. I've had a purple beehive when I was living in Manhattan at one point. I've had micro braids and extensions. I've had like literally every kind of hair I could think of. I've had it short, long. I just could love and talk about hair and notice people's hair all the time. So it makes sense that that's really the avenue I chose. And the problem I really tried to solve was like, it's embarrassing to say, but I was buying like, Oribe, Kerastase, Pureology. I could easily spend $500 a year on just conditioner, so the dip bar is $32 and really replaces a whole year of hair care for me.
And how did you
One
be
bar.
one bar? Yeah, girl, check out the website. I'm like need.
Yeah, so it saves me a ton of money, and I knew if I could get that conditioner bar in the hands of other women, it would not only solve the conditioner bar problem, which I believe a lot of people have frustrations with conditioner bars, but also save them a lot of money if they didn't care about plastic anyway. So if you don't care about plastic, it solves the money problem.
And let me just say, those that are listening to this, Kate has gorgeous hair.
Oh, thank you.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. It looks well conditioned.
Shiny, healthy. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I don't have a lot of hair, but I like love looking. If you see me, like, if you look over my shoulder and I'm on my phone by myself, I'm just looking at Pinterest hairstyles all the time.
That is, but like, how does it go from like this need, right, for yourself, for your child, your ethos? How does it go from that to 7 employees in a factory?
Well, it goes slowly, right? So in the beginning, I knew I wanted to solve this problem because I couldn't take it anymore. I
But
was
first of all, modest, 4.5 years, isn't it?
It feels like
That's
a
not a
long
long
time.
time.
It feels like I've been doing it forever. But yeah, step one was because I've been in the beauty industry, I knew exactly what chemist I wanted to work with. I chose someone who had never made bars before. That was like very important to me. I chose someone who like if you go into a Sephora or a salon, he's formulated a lot of the products that are on those shelves that are considered like some of the best. So I I spoke with this chemist and I was like, this is the problem I want to solve. I don't want you to look at any other bars on the market. I want you to take what you know about really great hair care. He had 4 decades of formulation and the things that you know that are timeless and amazing. I want you to clean up the formulas. I want you to make sure we use the most earth friendly stuff that exists that works. And I want it to be for all hair types. I want it to be so that if one family, like 2 parents with one with type 1 hair, one with type 4 hair, and they have 4 kids that all have different curl patterns. I want it to be that this one family, this poor mom can buy one set of products for the whole family.
I have literally, my bathroom is, the family bathroom is all these different hair care.
That's a universal. There's so many families that just have bottles and bottles and bottles, like, and then you have bottles of stuff that you kind of liked, but you're ready to like move on. So that sits there half empty. So, I mean, that was my behavior too. And so I wanted to simplify the shower because once the bars are out of the package, there's no real way to tell them apart I guess unless you add a lot of colors and you have your family memorize who's is who, it's just too much. So I wanted to, it was like really with mothers in mind, you're buying for the whole family and you're trying to solve the plastic problem. You have to make it work for the entire family. So that's how that was all the problems I tried to solve
How
in
hard
one.
was that though? How, because like I think, being in skincare myself, I was an esthetician for many years. Everyone always come, my clients would always say, like, can you put the best of everything in one bottle? And the truth is with skincare, and I have to imagine with hair care, not all, some ingredients are afraid of water, some bind really well with water. And so it's like, no, the answer is no. You can't put vitamin C and vitamin A and sunscreen all in one. So when you're saying this concept of all hair types, all the no nasties taken out, that seems really fucking hard to do.
It it was really, really hard. But you know what? I didn't focus on what was in it. I only focused on the outcome. Do you know what I mean? I was like, these are the things I don't want in it, but this is the desired outcome that I want. And so I would take every time there was an iteration of the dip formula, I would take it and there are about 400 different people that I just sent them out to. I was like, give me your feedback. Let me know. And it wasn't until someone with the finest, straightest hair and the person with the type 4 kinky, coily hair both said, this is awesome, that we launched it. Like, and even then I was still scared to launch it 'cause like, okay, I think it's amazing, but like, what's the actual market gonna think? And it was amazing to find out that the market responded really well to it. Thank God.
How did you like, okay, so you send it out to 400 people. Like this is, and again, this is music to my ears because this is, I think a lot of people think, okay, you have an idea and you go straight to the factory, right? Like obviously, like you said, that took time, but you sent the samples out. So proof of concept, it's there. We also know that Dip is really big in like supporting like the main street retailers, the mom and pops. You give a lot, which is a unique angle, right? It's like, hey, we want to support those in the community, shop small business. Did you go from, okay, we have something great, I'm producing it, I don't know, by hand at home, or I'm outsourcing it and I'm in small batches doing wholesale? Like, what was your next step to entering the market?
Because I was an industry person, I wanted to make sure it was done right from the very beginning. So I had my contract manufacturer. I negotiated very, very low MOQs. I worked with them. And that's like, if anyone's starting a business, the best thing you can do is reduce your MOQs for that first batch, you know? And so I was able to grow like the purchase orders in a way that felt safe and manageable as an entrepreneur, kind of like just figuring it out. So, I was able to negotiate, I think it was that first run was like 200 or 250 of each cent, which is very, very low.
Wow, that's incredibly, for anyone listening, like minimum order quantity. Most places are like, all right, we'll run something for you. Minimum, yeah, 1,000, or even 1,000 can be low. I've dealt with some that are like 5,000, 10,000,
10,000
25,000.
is general.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So you negotiated well.
Well, you have to kind of have a little bit of clout, and you have to be like a little chock full of audacity, right? Like you have to just go in and be like, okay, I had to convince this team that I was working with, like, this, I am confident this is gonna work. I just need you to, soften the financial blow in the beginning. And as soon as I kind of get the gears going, I can promise you the purchase orders will be bigger and bigger and bigger. And so, it got to the point where I was putting in $100,000 purchase orders and huge unit quantities. And so that was like really exciting. So that, you know, y- anyone who's starting a business, the best thing you can do is negotiate down in the beginning. Otherwise, you might have something that doesn't sell and you just like have your whole garage filled with it or something like
Totally.
that.
You'll have enough hair care for 3 family generations. They'll be like, "The great grandma Kate started this line." But, like, so the product-wise, it sounds like, okay, you've got that down, you've got your contract manufacturer. How are you finding now people to buy your product? Are we driving them to the website? I've mentioned that you've been big on, like, selling to mom and pop retailers, main street retailers. How do you now promote it? Because one ethos of your brand is like, you don't just pay any Tom, Dick, and Harry to say that they use their brand if you don't. You believe in authenticity. So, given the growth trajectory that you've accomplished, that must mean people genuinely really freaking like your product. But how did you find those people?
So the first round of sales comes from people you know, right? And I was blown away. I posted within my own network. I posted that I was launching this and what it was. And this is where it serves you to not burn any bridges in your life ever. The first week we sold $30,000 worth of dip, just from friends and friends of friends. That was like one of the most exciting things ever. It was like, oh, like thanks guys. And so then they tried it and people really liked it. And so it kind of blossomed in that way originally. And then I am a zero, like I shop at zero waste stores and refilleries myself. So I went to the very first refillery I sold to was called Good Bottle Refill Shop in New Jersey. And she was the first refill store that I had ever stepped foot in 2019. And I couldn't wait to show her these bars. I was so excited to like this. I made these bars and they're zero waste and they're amazing. And Deanna, who's the store owner, she brought them in immediately in her store and shouted them out. And then because of her putting it on her shelves, other zero waste stores inquired. And then I started to send the bars out as samples to zero waste stores all over the country. And I would go to these places. I would go to Virginia, Ohio. I literally go anywhere that wanted me to come do like almost like trunk shows and talk to people about the bars and why they were different and what made them special. And that is how we grew it. We grew, I say we, the first 18 months, it was me. And then what was really crazy is that I put in a huge order with my manufacturer. There's so much momentum. I was so excited. The manufacturer went bankrupt. So they took the deposit and then went bankrupt. And suddenly I was like, oh my God, I don't have a company anymore. And that was really, really probably like I'm talking like I was so sick about it, like, I was, like, puking blood, like, I was curled up in a ball, like, an order would come in, and it went from, like, celebrating orders to just being, like, dry heaving. I was like, "What am I gonna do?"
Yeah.
Like, these
What did you
I know
do?
I so we had some inventory, so we kind of, just worked our way like, that inventory was our way like, our timeline, so it was like an hourglass with the sand falling through, so the more we sold, like, the faster the timeline would shift. I actually I had a crossroads, right? I could either give my formulas to another contract manufacturer, and what people don't know about that is in beauty, like, that manufacturer, you have to really trust them to not sell your formulas or sell, like, 95% of your formula being the same to another company like a L'Oreal or someone that's like, "Oh, dip's doing really well, like, I'll figure out where it's made, and I'll just help myself," you
Totally.
know?
Very common.
So
Very common.
I did the crazy thing and I started my own factory. So I took some of the displaced workers from the company that was going under or went bankrupt. And they actually found the building, got the equipment, and we started it up from scratch on our own vertically.
Wow. So that is like talk about triumph because many people would have been like, "Listen, it was a good run. I'm stressed out. I'm coughing up blood. Like this ain't worth it." But you were like, "Okay, this sucks. I'm going to figure this out." You put a little faith in the next contract manufacturer. Obviously, it seems like because the product was good. See, that's funny when you say that. It's a blessing and a curse when you have a good product because people buy it, but you're like, "Don't buy it so fast. I need to figure out step 2 or step 3 here." And then at what point in the 4.5 years are you like, "Okay, I need to now start hiring people." Yeah, I can't be a one-woman show having literal trunk shows, out of my car or whatever. You're doing it in stores or like, where were you like, "Maybe I need to do trade shows or I need to get like a dedicated sales rep." What did that look like? Because I also just wanna say your design and your packaging is exquisite. So it's clear to me that like, oh, there's a professional on brand. If it's not Kate, she's hired someone with an eye for design.
Yeah, my poor husband is that person I hired for free. He had also 20 years of beauty experience in packaging. So he can do all the things that I can't do. So I can do the marketing, the sales, figure out the distribution. And he is like the guy that makes everything beautiful.
Does he
So
have great hair? I
Jonathan,
just need to know, does he have shiny hair like you?
he does.
Oh,
He used to have a lot more hair.
yeah,
So
it
I don't
happens.
know.
With these, it happens. Let him know it happens, and if he wants to shave it off and be bald, we'll love him just as much. Okay? We'll love him just as
Yeah.
much, but I imagine he's probably like, "Hell, I'll help you. I get free hair care for the rest of my life."
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was fun because we got to work on it together and, so often we were doing beauty products, we're designing beauty branding for other people. And now this one, like the stakes were really high. Like, and we were working together and really, really figuring out what we want it to look like, feel like. He'd also been using bar shampoo and conditioner forever. So he wanted to make sure that it was like the best of the best. So it was nice, but he still, like, had another full-time job, so I brought him in probably 18 months in, that's when we started with the factory, so I had to hire employees for that, and then just maybe, like, a year and a half ago, I hired our first sales executive that she actually owned a zero-waste store that was really, really successful, and she used to sell a lot of dip. She used to sell about $6,000 worth of dip a month in her store, and she, you know, geographically had to, like, move away from where her store was located, and I was like, "I'll take you on my team, you're amazing." And so her name is Jackie, so she is now on the dip team, and she's the best. So, yeah,
Wow.
the warehouse team has grown, so for the first 4 years, I did customer service on my own because it was very important to me as a business owner to know what was there and what the issues were, and then are you still there?
I'm still here. Yeah, sorry. Sorry. If anyone's watching, I've just like blanked on the screen, but I am here, baby girl. I am here with my mouth wide open, like, holy shit. Kate is like the coolest, calmest. Like, yeah, and then like I just hired this person and now in the warehouse. Like, you just figure, but you figure it out.
You figure it out as you go, I'm making it sound easy. It was not. Sometimes it was like, "Okay, do I need to hire someone or should I just, like, do all this stuff myself?" And more often than not, having someone dedicated to certain things like customer service was so much better than it was like carving out that budget for that, like, helped sales, you know? So it's not just like it's not just having people, like, just start coming into the business. Everyone is so important and vital for their role, and it's outgrown me as what I can do on my own.
When did you know? What was the point when you were like, okay, I I can afford to pay a team. I'm assuming your husband's full-time
Yeah, he's
dedicated to the
full-time,
brand?
he's salaried, we're
Yep. What was that when at what point in the business did you get there where you're like, "This has legs. I can take a salary or I can live I can grow this, but this is a meaningful business model." Was that recent? Was that a couple of years in? And because again, the factory, you own a factory in North Carolina, that ain't a small feat.
yeah. Well, I still lease the space, so it's not.
Well, just say you own it. I'm not gonna fact check.
I would say probably, like, we were profitable immediately. I paid myself immediately because a lot of mistakes that entrepreneurs make is not paying themselves. Like, it's okay to have a little debt, right? In the beginning. It's okay to, like, even if you're paying yourself like $2,000 a month, like, you should do it because if you find every excuse to just let all your money go to all your bills, you're suddenly now like a slave to your business instead of a business owner. Like, the business is running you. And so, no matter what, I always carved out a little money for myself. So I was felt whole. And, if that month we had like a little bit on the credit card, is not a big deal. We would take care of it as it comes. But I meet so many women entrepreneurs that forget to even just carve out like some livable income for themselves. But I I was able to bring on like W-2 employees, like real salaried employees. Yeah, 18 months in, I was able to do that.
Wow. And to date, how many wholesale customers, because you're very big, and I'd like you to speak a little bit about like giving back to the Main Street businesses, the mom and pops. Is that your bread and butter of the business? And how many people are we talking? 500, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000? Give us the big numbers, girl.
Sure. It varies between 4 and 500 at a time, mostly because stores are closing all the time. New stores are opening. We're trying to protect the stores that are closing, but, to be honest, like, stores close and main street stores are closing, and it's one of the reasons that we run our business the way that we do. And what I mean by that is we don't sell dip on Amazon. We don't run crazy sales on our website. We protect our price so that our retailers are able to sell. And so we we make it so that if you abandon your cart, we send you the store locator. We're like, "Good, I'm glad you abandoned your cart. Like, go find dip in your town. Go if you're nervous about purchasing it, like, go and talk to your local zero waste store, or go to your local surf shop, or go to your local salon." Like, we sell in those 3 places, and, you know, in exchange is that a customer can go and have a human to human conversation about, like, "Hey, I'm nervous to buy dip. I don't trust it. I heard this lady on a podcast. I just don't I need to hear it from someone else." You know what I mean? And so some of these small stores that, are like 400 square feet, or like they're not huge, but these independent small stores are selling 50 to 70 to $100,000 worth of dip a year. So dip pays their rent, and I make less money when someone buys something in a store, but that store becomes like an educational hub about the product for that community. And that is like, I'm so grateful to these store owners, and I do everything I can to protect them and protect their sales.
Wow. Like, they are basically your sales reps.
They're my sales reps, and I know most of them personally at this point because I host events with my retailers. I check in on them. Like, we're all kind of, especially the zero waste stores and the refilleries, we're all kind of networked with each other. They know that I bring awareness about refilleries in general. Like, every time I go on anything, I'm always shouting out what they are, and that's kind of the relationship, and it's not done out of greed or altruism. It's somewhere in the middle where we just have, like, a great relationship, and I think that, you know, there's a camaraderie with zero waste people. Like, we want to see more people shopping in a zero waste store, because say they go in for dip, they can also find the other vetted sustainable solutions that don't leave you feeling disappointed. That you can find all the stuff that is, like, really incredible, and that you don't have to worry about, like, being duped online by, like, really great reviews and a really disappointing product. Like, that's my favorite thing about these zero waste stores. They have to invest in inventory, they curate it and make it amazing. And so you're not, like, at risk for shopping crappy sustainable stuff, to be honest.
Hmm. Genius. It's really genius. I think, like, I think nowadays, and when Serena and I worked together for Zoe Coco, which was, tween bath and body products, obviously reviews are very big, right? People want to trust that someone else has vetted it. But unfortunately nowadays, you hear every now and then about a big company who has, especially with AI now, there's 50,000 reviews, 49,999 are fake.
They're fake. There are a
Um,
lot of it's crazy.
they're
They're fake.
fake. They're
Read
just
read the bad reviews. If they've only got 5 stars, don't touch them.
Yeah.
Read the bad reviews.
Mhm. Yeah.
And if you can live with whatever it is that the bad reviews say, then it's a good product.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wi internally, we call it review pollution, because so many reviews are incentivized, so many of them are non-verified purchases, so many of them are, like, just this gifted collab that all flies under the radar. It's crazy.
But that doesn't mean that it's bad products. Most of the time, it just means that nobody's reviewed it.
Right, right, and
That's
so
I mean, it's so hard to get somebody to say, "Actually, I love this enough to write something down."
I agree. I agree. It's super rare. Even my own behavior, it's really rare for me to write a review. you
Give
know?
me something I hate, and I'm all over it. Give me something I don't love, and I'm there writing my reviews. But something that I use and I love, I find it much harder to be incentivized to write those reviews. I should think about that more, actually.
it's really interesting though that, like, I think it's refreshing. And I know Serena and I mean, one of the reasons Serena and I have been friends for what, 6 years now is I mean, we've worked together, but we're friends, is that I think we really value, the ethos that you're speaking of, right? Which is giving back to the community, which is integrity in ingredients, which is passion, but it's also humility. It's also like when you were talking about the contract manufacturer going bankrupt, not saying, and then I figured it out the next day. It's like, I was terrified, but that resilience, and Serena has always really taught me that, like, hey, it's not about always putting on, the everything's great face. Sometimes it's being in the trenches together, but knowing that your team has got you.
Yeah. And the team is like I probably would have collapsed a long time ago if I didn't have the great team. The team is what makes the job fun. And, not using is the wrong word, but having the retailers like that, like getting to know them on a human level increases like how much joy comes in with the company, because it's now we have like this network of really fun, awesome, sustainable people that are in different communities around the country. And like we learned so much from them also about our customers because they're, interfacing, they're asking the question, like the customers are asking them the questions. And so it feels like our workforce or our team is even bigger because of the zero waste stores and the stylists also that are trying, there's a lot of stylists out there that are like horrified with the waste in the salon industry. And so they bring dip in just for that. Or even because it's a bad economy. Like right now, they can't sell 12 tubes of something pricey. They'd rather sell one dip bar and then, be like, hey, you can save $500 with this one conditioner bar that will get you in the chair to do your roots 3 times this year, So that's a lot of girl math there, but that is how a lot of us think. That's how I think anyway.
I was following. I was like, yes, get me in that chair. I need the balayage. I need the deep conditioner. I need it all.
Yeah. But imagine if you weren't like kind of a slave to buying this pricey hair care anymore and it just lasted a long time in your shower. Like for some people the dip conditioner bar can last like 2 years, which is crazy. But like, you know, that's a huge savings for someone.
Wow. I am going to put the I'm gonna test this out because in our pre-chat, you had mentioned that I live in Connecticut, and there is a retailer right next to where my parents' house is, and, I love the integrity of the messaging, and I think that, when you are selling something to get people to feel compelled to shop online is one thing, but compelled to drive somewhere is a whole other level of commitment. But like I was saying this to Serena after our pre-chat, I was like, I'm girl crushing on Kate, man. Like she's just got it. Like because here's the thing, and Serena, I'm curious your take on this, and I think maybe it would be the same, maybe not. Like there's this attitude that you have of like, I know what I like and I know what I do is good. And I want you and I think you'd benefit from the bar. You'd bet because it's good for your hair type. It's gonna save you money. Key. And I think that it shows in the way you present it instead of like, you need it, you need it, you need it, you need it, you need it. The other things suck. Like this it's selling, but it's not selling because you believe in it. And so it's a natural influence in that a true influencer is someone who lives life in a way that they feel aligned with, not buy me, buy me, buy me.
But
And
not
so I
everyone
can't
gets to speak to Kate.
yes,
So, I mean,
exactly.
we can all sell our things passionately. Whatever we do, we can be very passionate about it. But not everyone gets to speak to you. And when I see a bar, I'm going to be completely transparent here. If I was to see a bar and it's, 12 months worth of shampoo, I'd be like, okay, really good and healthy for your hair, amazing glossy hair at the end of it. Okay, I'm not sure I'm going to believe that, you know, and I push back. How do you get over that? I mean, do you?
Uh, I mean, to be honest, yeah, because I was that person too. I was like, I'm never touching another bar again. I was so angry. So I am that person. So it's not, it's really, I speak that language.
I'm gonna ask a really stupid question here. How do you use it?
So the shampoo is actually made so it's like very, very it's hair friendly. So you can apply it on your hair and it doesn't need pressure. What it needs is speed. So you don't press down at all. You just let it
Yeah, you see,
slide
because
on wet
now the
hair.
idea of rubbing something hard on my scalp is like,
Yeah, well, it's not you
what?
don't need to press down. You actually have it, like, sitting on top, and you go really, really fast, and it'll, like, explode with lather. You put the bar down, and then you just kind of you'll it's incredible, to be honest. I love it because every other bar I had tried before, you needed to press down, and when you have to press down, like, during COVID, I lost a lot of hair. So, like, you know, b because that was, like, one of the problems with COVID, it, like, made people lose hair. Now people are on GLP-1s, right? They're losing hair left and right, and so like, protecting every strand is very important to me anyway, and probably to a lot of people. So, pushing down with a bar on my head was like a deal breaker for me. I was so tired of it, but it's specially formulated with that in mind because in 2021, when we were developing it, like, I did not want it to tug any precious strands out. So that was one. And then with the conditioner, you just have to put a very wet bar on very wet hair and you just keep applying. You kind of paint it on your hair and you'll feel it is so luxurious, the conditioning agent in it, that your hair will feel like extra slick and extra slippery. And we've only had one person ever say, I don't like how conditioning this is. It feels like my hair is like mush. And I know exactly what that person is talking about because if you're used to using like a lower grade conditioner, you kind of your hair is not that slick. And so it's even so strong that it's an after swim detangler. So basically you dip the bar, you can dip it in water and run it down wet hair. It'll instantly detangle it and then you can air dry and go on to your next thing.
My worst nightmare was I'd gone swimming in chlorine water in extreme heat. I had my hair up in a messy bun and my hair matted, like locked, and I had to cut it. I had to cut it. I could not get my hair out.
You needed dip. You needed dip,
I
Serena.
needed it so
When did this
badly at
happen?
that
When did
point.
this happen? When did this happen, Serena?
Oh, this happened. Oh, it happened pre me knowing you. It was like,
Oh, okay.
it
Because
was
I
in
was like, I don't remember
Florida. It
that.
was, yeah, honestly, I had to cut my hair.
That's
It was the
crazy.
most it was the most horrendous thing. I was sitting there, went out and bought coconut oil and everything. Could not unlock my hair. It was a really messy bun. I was gonna live with it forever.
Before you go in the water anywhere, beach, pool, you should get your hair wet with fresh water first, then it doesn't absorb anything from the water.
Now I actually wet my hair and put conditioner through it. So your bar sounds as though it would be amazing. I it was Volcano Bay in Orlando.
Oh, man.
It was all the chlorine and then it would like it obviously got wet with chlorine. I tied it up and then it dried and then it got wet again and it dried. So yeah. So yeah, conditioner bar sounds amazing right
I'm
now.
traumatized from that story, Serena. I've known you for this long and you've never mentioned your wild ass story about having to cut into your bun after
I
a
know,
swim.
right?
Girl, you need dip. Well, you can, to be fair, you can get the lifetime supply of dip on the website. You know, I've checked that out because there is an offer where you can get, or not lifetime, an annual, an annual. I mean, I just think with the brand and with the story and like the packaging really speaks to me because it is knowing you and speaking to you. It's like your vibe. It kind of reminds me of kind of like California vibes where it's like cool, calm, and collected. Like we're gonna go to the beach, but we're not the type of people that are gonna have like the whole set. Like we'll have enough and we're gonna have fun, but we're not gonna be like the people who have like the 400 trolleys that we're gonna bring to the beach. This is not the Ritz. This is the beach. But we're
We
gonna do
still
this.
we want yeah. I mean this is a great conversation because I know that me and Sarah are both in kind of your demographics. Honestly, I mean, we've had enough conversations about like skincare, hair care, sustainability, ethos, all of those things to know that, you're our kind of gal, to be honest.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, I feel that too. It's just because it's not just being sustainable. It's like this other layer that often gets overlooked. Like you want to be sustainable and you want to be excited about it. You want it to be like for me, like I knew if I could get someone excited about their hair that maybe they'd start to look for other swaps. You know, it's always been bigger than shampoo and conditioner. I've always wanted someone to be like, okay, I'm in the zero waste store. I'm getting the dip bars that someone's convinced me to buy, right? Now, like, okay, what else is in here? Maybe I have like the replacement, the Swedish dishcloths that replace paper towels. You know, maybe I can get a stasher bag that replaces Ziplocs. Like maybe I can get these other things and like maybe I'm gonna refill my laundry detergent instead of getting a whole big bulky plastic jug next time. So I mean, like that was the idea. And that's why, you know, I wanted to scale the movement, not just the customer list.
And it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, me and Sarah, can both contest to this, that the moment you start I mean, how ridiculous that paper costs so much more money than plastic when you're packaging. When you're looking at packaging. Why is it so hard to be sustainable and profitable and, you know, try and run a business like that? It's just not easy.
No, it's not easy at all. And I have so many competitors, and so many of our competitors kind of do some dirty marketing tactics. Like I have one competitive brand that's like, what they're doing is they've put out like 4 or 5 blogs they're not mean blogs about dip. They're kind of factually incorrect, but what they're trying to do is train Chat GPT to take people away from our organic search over to their website. Um, that company is called Viore, by the way. So their blogs are up.
Their blogs are because I was gonna Google and say, "Who's do" even my baby started to cry. Look at she's upset. She's upset. She heard the shit that they were doing. That's
Yeah, I mean, there's
wild.
another brand. We've had a scent called Rosewater Jasmine for 4 years since the very beginning. A competitor just launched Rosy Jasmine in the same color box. So they're also trying to take traffic away. And, it's fine. Like if I think consumers don't like that. So for me, like this is the first time I've really mentioned it in a forum like this, but my retailers don't like it. They see it and they're like, okay, I'll never carry that brand now. So in that way, like the network that Dip has built is like very, very strong and loyal, and I'm loyal back to the stores. And so it's not something that someone stealing organic traffic is really going to destroy, And I would think I would be pissed if I went to shop for something and I was looking specifically for a product and I got to a competitor's website. I'd be like, F this brand. And so I think they do have like a disgust for that.
I'm totally aligned on that. Like, screw the people. Screw the people who are trying to knock you off. Say the names. Say the names. It's dirty.
Well, I tried to contact them on LinkedIn and be like, "Can you what's going on with this?" And no one ever got back to me. So, I've given them probably like 4 months solid chance to remedy it, and like I don't know why you need to run your business this way. If your product was so great, people should find it on its own and be looking for you.
100%. You know what? They say imitation is the greatest form of flattery, but at the same time, it's annoying in a business when you're like, please stop doing this.
It's annoying in every facet. Like if I had someone showing up in the same denim shirt, like follow me around everywhere, I'd be so annoyed. Like I think in business it's annoying and like a personal life it's annoying.
It's called stalking. It's a
I don't
misdemeanor,
know.
sometimes a felony.
Is it ever flattering? I think the person that came up with that phrase was like a copier.
Was it obsessed ex?
Yeah, they were like an obsessed person. It's like, "Oh no, this is flattery. It's not me being weird." You're like, "No, it's
Yeah,
weird."
yeah. Now, okay, as we kind of conclude this marvelous journey that you've had, we like to throw a little curveball at you. A happy curveball. Okay, after all the curveballs you've had, this is easy, right? Serena has a question from a previous guest. She didn't know who you were, what industry you work in, but our previous guest wants to ask you a question based on her experience. So Serena, what is that question, baby girl?
If you had to start over from scratch, what business would you do instead? Would you be doing something different or would it be the same?
I would open a local private room karaoke bar. That's what I would do.
Really?
I love private room karaoke. I don't love karaoke when it's in a bunch of like with a bunch of strangers, but I love private room karaoke in St. Mark's in New York City. And I would love to do that here so I don't have to trek into the city to do it. That's what I would do. I would create awesome.
I'm totally and utterly blown away by that answer.
That's what I would do.
I
I would
was
love.
almost positive you were going to say, no, I would do exactly this.
No, I would do private room karaoke locally in my town. And I would love to hear people singing, like, like, it would be all soundproofed, but then you open the door and there's someone singing their face off with their friends. That's what I would do.
Awesome answer. Awesome answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it all the time, like, I wish there was private room karaoke around here, you know? So
Wow, Kate, you are just too freaking cool. Like, the more you talk, the more I'm like, yes, Kate, I'm moving to Jersey. Where do you live? I'll be your neighbor. I'm going to be the stalker.
it's so fun to do with your friends, like, at any age,
It's
you know?
so fun. Now, what would you ask the next guest we have? You have no idea who they are, what industry they work in. What do you want to ask? And it can be anything. It can be super random. It can be hair specific. It could just be ethos related. Whatever you want.
Okay. What music do you listen to when you're going through it with your business? Like, what band, what genre, like, what are you listening to?
I love it, Serena. What do you listen to when you're going through it?
Oh, it's got to be hard and heavy. It's got to be like, yeah.
I love that. Like classic though, or like new age hard and like
No, no, I'm talking like guitars and drums. I'm talking real instruments and screaming.
Are we doing a little Ozzy Osbourne, Crazy Train? Are we doing a little bit of that? Or are we just doing full corn, Korn, people? If you
Oh
don't
yeah,
know,
no,
look it up.
that's great. That's yeah, a little bit of that going on in the background just to burn off that energy. Yes.
Damn, that's amazing. I have to ask you, Kate, because what do you listen to when things are getting rough?
I go I go soft. So I listen to the band Interpol, like, because I can, like, think when it's playing, you know? And but I do love a good corn moment or, like.
Thank you. Kate, I felt like you would understand that. I felt like, if it was someone else besides you, I wouldn't mention corn, but like back in the day, a little grunge rock, you know?
Sarah, what about you? Do you know what we have no idea about? I have no idea of what her taste in music is. I think she's a little bit like
I'm all over the place, girl. I'm all over the place. Mornings, and you catch me with a little classical. Get the brain going. Get the brain going, okay? Then, if I know I need to do something and hype myself up, heavy freaking metal, but not just all. A little bit of like when I was 16, any heavy metal band when I was 16 years old. Like that genre.
I'm
Early
frozen in that
2000s.
time period for
okay,
Yes.
music.
okay. So what we listening to, ladies? What was that?
So there is a band, I don't know if they're still around, called Korn, Korn, and that was what
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, the emo kids listen to. I wasn't emo,
My
but like,
kids listen to it. I love it. I love
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah. And he's just like,
so much.
got the life. And I'm like, yeah. And then I will tell you, I usually always like to, at the end of the day, to kind of soften it out, always something with a little Latin flair. I'm not a great dancer, especially I don't do salsa dancing or bachata, but like that idea of like, everything's going to be okay. Let's just dance it out. Let's just salsa away on the dance floor.
I love a bit of movement, but I do listen to. I wouldn't. It's not classical. Not
No, but in
classical.
the
But
morning,
I
get the
do
brain
like
activated,
instrumentals.
girl.
I like heavy instrumentals when I'm thinking. Like Kate said, no words, no songs, no songs because I have to sing along because I'm a sing along
Yes.
gal. So
Yes.
yeah, instrumentals for when I just need to think, but it's still got to be a little bit heavy. I need to have some movement.
That's a great question. I told you before we even started the interview, I'm like, you're going to ask a question for the next guest. Serena and I cannot help ourselves. We're going to take the time to pretend that we are the next guest and answer it. But that is
I do
awesome.
most of the time try and think it in my head. I don't always have to say it out loud, but Sarah did
Oh,
ask
that's
it.
true. I have no restraint. Like, okay, let me play this game. So if anyone's listening, Kate, and anyone's like, okay, listen, she built this business. She's got great taste in music. She wants to open up a karaoke bar. Like this girl, check, 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 check. How you have mentioned that in order to find dip, people have to go to their local retailers. They can also shop online. They can shop on your website. How do people find you? Because people are convinced. We know our crowd. We know our audience. They're like, yes, she's the real deal. How can people find more about dip, where to find it, how to try it, all that good stuff?
How do I get some in the UK?
If we can ship it to you, yeah, for sure. So it's dipalready.com. And then if you go to the website, there's a store locator button. So see if there's anywhere in town that has it. It's really important to these small stores that we keep them alive. So that go to the store locator right in the header. And then if you want to find us online or just do some more discovering on Instagram and TikTok, we're at Dip Already.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful one. Let me tell you, I will give an update on this podcast once I try the dip hair product because it has been something that shampoo bars, conditioner bars, like Lush has done them. Some big brands have done them, but like I've always found like, yeah, yeah, like yeah, right. It's just like it smells good, it looks good, but it's very clear that a hair expert has no idea, has not been involved in this process. More of a marketer has been involved in the process. So
Do you know what? I full confessions here. The shampoo bars I've tried, like you said, rubbing really hard. I thought I was using them wrong. I didn't know whether I had to lather them up here or
You're using them
take off
right.
here, shave it. I had no idea. I was obviously doing it wrong. I didn't like it, so I can't wait to try it.
we're gonna lather and glide, baby, with dip. Lather and glide, 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 paintbrush, lather. Like you said, lather explosion, and I was like, yes,
Yeah. I mean, it's
yes.
so important to keep the experience that people expect, like myself included.
You're absolutely right because on so many of the eco brands, they kind of lose some of that.
Then they try and tell you, like, oh, the lather isn't cleaning or anything. It's like, doesn't matter. I want that feeling. Like, I like the feeling. It has nothing to do with whether the lather is responsible for it or not. I want the feeling.
100%. It's just like toothpaste. I want the mint taste.
Yeah, I
But
want
the
the mint.
mint taste doesn't do anything. Give me the goddamn mint taste.
I know, I want the mint taste. I agree. I think you
I
have
got
to
chocolate
go,
flavored
like,
toothpaste, ladies.
Oh, Serena, baby.
I have to say it's a bit weird, but I had to buy it.
Kate, I just feel like you understand the consumer because you are the consumer. I feel like your story has been, again, told from a really realistic perspective. It hasn't been without bumps, but the bumps you have been resilient with, or you have been resilient in overcoming, I should say. And I think Serena and I, this is a classic example of the type of guest we really love having because we then can check in on you in 6 months, in a year. Where is dip at? Because it's so rooted. It already has a base. It has customers. Now it's just a matter of evolving. So we will certainly make sure to be in touch. Again, anyone listening, support local, support mom and pop, and support Dip. It's just been a really wonderful time hearing your story. So thank you for being here and just really being transparent about everything from the journey to the karaoke bar.
awesome. Thank you for having me. It's been really, really fun. And I look forward to talking to you guys again.